Good day and welcome to another broadcast of Venture Capital Fund. This program comes to you with the compliments of Venture Capital Inc. and Global Branding and Marketing. This program stands on two pillars. One, we bring you a lot of information relevant to your business and your business development. We show you systems and strategies that will help you to better scale your business, either your brand with global relevance. On the other hand, we also help you to understand new financial systems, new financial models that really shows you how to get into the belly of creating debt and how to leverage smart debt tools to escape the debt trap. So in the event that you're in business and you want to know more about these systems to build a better business, a better brand, a better idea, this is the program for you. So I want to encourage you, in the event that you are looking at this program for the first time, or you have never liked or subscribed to this program, I want to encourage you to do so now. Just give us a thumbs up and press the subscription button at the bottom of this screen, and you will be the first to get this information as we bring them to you on a daily basis. Today's program promises to be exciting because we're going to be looking at marketing systems and sales strategy, and very, very unique information that we're going to be bringing to you to help you to scale your business, your brand, your idea, and better cash flow your operation. So today we're going to be going deep into the belly of these issues that is relevant to your business. Again, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the multiple best-selling author for several books, including Billionaire Codes and Manager's Toolkits. These two books are already on the bestseller list, and I want to encourage you to get your copy of these books today. You can log on to our sister company website, which is www.megamoney.com. You can make a purchase online, or you can inbox me via the email, and I'll be happy to get your copies of books to you. Now, today let's get into the belly of our discussion. And we are looking at a series of marketing systems and a series of marketing strategies. Today we'll begin by looking at step one, and that is how to identify and influence your target market. You have a business, an idea, and a brand. This is one of the first questions you should be asking yourself. Who's your target market, and what do you need to do to influence that target market? So today we're going to be going into this to help you to better understand that. Now, as we dig deep into today's program, there's a few things that I want you to keep in mind. One, I want you to keep in mind and ask yourself what is the predeterminants of demand method. We will be looking at what we call predeterminants of demand methods, or the informed determinants method. We will also be looking at speculative determinants of demand methods that is used. And last but not least, we will be looking at what we call the post determinants of demand method. Now, we will examine these three methods and methodologies, and then we look at the advantages and disadvantages in the conclusion of this program. Now, what exactly do I mean by the term predeterminant of demand method? Now, in going into business, there's what we call predeterminants. And the predeterminants is a reflection of your target market and what are their needs and their wants and their expectations. And these are things that you can actually predetermine. And one clear example of this, you have 100 individuals with 100 cars and vehicles. you can predetermine that they will need gasoline or diesel to move those vehicles forward. The same principle applies to your business. The products and services that you want to make an offer to the public, those things can also be predetermined. Now, the way some businesses go about gathering these predeterminants is by looking at what we call historical data, and those are data that is published. So you go to census return and you might get some information. You look at the magazine might have some published data. You go to those data and you can clearly identify what are some of the predeterminants. But the predeterminants is also broken up into different social class structure that you need to know. All right, so in some cases you go to get this information here, and that literally informs your business decision. The big question is, should you only depend on this kind of information when you're going to be making a business decision where you are likely to be invested hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars? My suggestion, no. On the other side, you have what we call speculative determinants of demand method, and this is worse than the first one. Here is where you enter a field of business, and you enter that field of business largely because you see persons are there and you assume that they are cash flowing their businesses. So you make a decision to get into that type of business. One example of this is that about 10, 15 years ago, when the internet service became a major area of doing business in the Caribbean, you had at every other corner a call center was popping up. And those businesses were popping up without any consideration in terms of market reality. They were very speculative pop-ups. And what do I mean by market reality? And I would always say this: if you have 100 consumers in a particular geography, and you have 10 businesses to service those geography, let us say that the quality of service and the products that they're offering are on par with each other. The pricing, they're on par. They are likely to have a fair share of the market. But now let us suppose that 20, 30, 40 additional persons enter that market. Those persons who are entering the market, if they're not bringing something that is very exceptional to the market, they are not likely to make the strongest impact on the market, particularly so if you're also entering from a speculative standpoint. You're leveraging the speculative determinants of customer demand, meaning that you're just looking at what's happening and you make that decision. You didn't get into the market, get some skin in the game to get critical information, and you build your business, your brand, your idea based on the market intelligence. You are not likely to penetrate that market. And there are many other reasons why. The third system that you have is what we call the post-determinant of demand. The post-determinant of demand method is the one that I have very, very keen interest in. Why? Because this is the one where you are able to go to the ground and you have your eyes and your ears and your tongue that is actively involved in the market. So you have a clear mental picture of what are those market realities. And based on the fact that you have a clear mental pictures of what are those market realities, you put yourself, your brand, your idea in the most strategic position to compete and win. Now, with everything that I have said here, every single thing that I have said here is relevant to you identifying and knowing how to influence your target market. Now, before I move on to advantages and disadvantages, let me say this. The research is showing that over 50% of businesses that got started fail within the first 5 years. If you are one of those companies that are failing or are likely to fail, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Are you using the predeterminant method, meaning that you are just looking at published data or hearsay data? In some cases, it may be accurate or not accurate, but are you using this kind of information to make informed and educated business decisions? If you're failing or likely to fail, it might be because of the information that you're gathering from the market to gauge your business activities might be faulty. And you need to get this right. And you need to talk to a professional business consultant that can really help you dig deep into this and navigate this entire process and put you in that position of strength to make better, stronger, informed business decisions. Business is not a gamble. It is serious business and hard-earned money that you're going to be putting there in most cases to scale and develop that business. So you need to get the right skin in the game. You need to get the right mentor, the right coach, the right support system to help you move your business, your idea, your brand forward. The next question I want you to ask yourself, are you using a speculative determinant of demand method? Meaning that you just enter the market assuming that the consumer is likely to come to you because you are in business, but you do not have a very clear mental idea in terms of if your products, your services, your brand is matching the needs, wants, and expectations of your target market. You need to ask yourself these questions. Perhaps failing to ask yourself these questions and failing to get the precise answer can be another reason why your business is failing or is likely to fail. Our mission at Venture Capital Fund and at Global Branding and Marketing is to ensure that we can give you this critical information that will allow you to make better business decisions. If you want to go to a commercial bank to access funding, this information is necessary. If you want to position your business for venture capital funding, this information is necessary. They are necessary. So feel free to reach out to us for a free consultation, and we'll be so happy to work with you and navigate this process. You don't want to be speculative. Speculative intelligence is very subjective, and subjective information can cost you hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars in your business startup and in your business development. And this is not where you want to be. The question that you should ask yourself now, the last question, is, are you leveraging the post-determinants of demand method? And the post-determinants of demands method, we're going to spend some time looking at this today. We look at the disadvantage of what we call the predeterminants of demand method and the speculative determinants of demand method. And then we look at the advantages of what we call the post-determinants of demand method. And it's all here about ground zero, all right? How to identify and influence your target market, all right? You need to know who you are targeting, all right? And you need, in identifying who you're targeting, you need to ask yourself, what are those predeterminants. And I give you two examples. With a car, need gas, so you can predetermine that everybody that is driving a car would need gasoline or diesel. Now we have the hybrid. We also look at another example, and those examples must be viewed in the context of the predeterminant. Now, let us dive in a little deeper. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages of using the predeterminants of demand method and the speculative determinants of demand method? Now, I may say some things that may sound good, but you think about it. One advantage that we see is that you have zero cost for research. Because of the fact that you entered the market, you didn't do any primary research, your cost for research is zero. But zero market research means that you may also have zero and highly inaccurate market intelligence. And zero market intelligence and highly inaccurate market intelligence can really destroy your potential, your business potential to grow and scale and diversify. Because you don't have the intelligence, and you don't have the intelligence, you cannot identify who's your specific target market and why. You cannot identify the needs, wants, and expectations of your target market because you're not invested to get the critical market intelligence. So in doing this kind of research, you want to identify your target market. Then you want to know your market size. How many persons are in the market? Your potential target audience, you need to know this. And you need to also know how that market is geographically dispersed. You need to understand this because it is by understanding this, you can better understand the viability of that market that you're in. And if you don't have this kind of information, you're shooting blanks. You're shooting in the dark. You have a blindfold over your eye. You cannot see what you're doing. So you got to make a decision if you want zero cost of market intelligence, zero intelligence, and the chance of having failed that business and wasting hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. The second thing that I want to look at here, advantage, disadvantages, is what we're going to call the speed in demographic targeting. Yes, you may quickly say that I'm targeting my products and services at this specific target market. But guess what? What do you know about that target market, culture and lifestyle and social class and their behavioral determinants of demand and economic determinants of demand? You have zero knowledge here, idea, but you're quick to jump out of the box to say, I'm targeting this particular target group. Now, a smarter way of doing business is you cannot do business this way. You just can't select a target market like that. You want to know that you are selecting a target market. And why? Because you want to add value and fix problems. You can make a strategic value proposition to that specific target market, but if you don't understand that target market, how are you going to make a value proposition and know that that value proposition is going to be aligned, to know that there's a demand for your value proposition? So ground zero is that you have to invest in critical market intelligence and do the research. Don't be quick to identify your target market without understanding the culture, lifestyle, social class, needs, wants, and expectations. So the advantage is that you can quickly identify your target market, but the disadvantage, you do not have the critical information about your target market. That's a major disadvantage. The third advantage, disadvantage is what we're going to call the speed in business startup. You can quickly start up the business. Like I talked about the internet cafes. We have internet cafes springing up left, right, and center. At every other corner, there's an internet cafe. But because of the fact that no research was done, you didn't recognize that there's a threat to your business growth and your business success. There's a threat to your business growth and your business success. Because if we had, again, 1,000 persons in the community, and on a monthly basis, they are investing $1 million in 10 different suppliers. When you have 20, 30, 40 different suppliers, when each of the 10 might have been extracting $100,000, you have them now on a month here, they're extracting 10, 15,000 or less. They're going to be those who are going to be in between that will extract less because of the market saturation. But you cannot make this decision because you do not have the intelligence. You are leaping before you look instead of looking before you leap. So it's important for you to ensure that you can take the time out and get the right mentorship, the right coaching that can guide you properly in starting and scaling your business. All right, so the speed to start up your business, you need to take your time here. The speed, I always say speed is not accuracy. Speed is not, cash flow maximization. Speed can hurt you if you don't have the right information. It can hurt you financially. It can hurt your reputation, your credibility. It can really hurt you. So you need to watch this. The fourth advantage and disadvantage that I want us to look at is what we're going to call the speed in business cash flow. Now, every business that I start in, your primary concern is cash flow maximization. You want speed and cash flow maximization. And your speed and cash flow maximization will also be short-lived. Why would it be short-lived? Because again, you cannot strategically align your products, your services, your business, your ideas, your brand to the specific needs of your target market. So it means that your value proposition is going to be off track. And if you follow the previous broadcast that I would have had, and I want to go and look back at them, we said that when you're getting into business, one of the first things that you want to ask yourself is, what is your brand intention value trait? Your brand intention value trait must be to add value and fix problems. Your brand intention value trait must have a well corporate culture, and the corporate culture must be designed to impact the internal workforce and impact the external workforce. But you can't create any kind of impact because, again, your key focus is cash flow maximization and not on value proposition and adding value and fixing problems. Is about cash flow maximization. So yes, you may be able to cash flow, but once the public start to understand your products, your service, your brand, and they start to recognize that it is not aligning to their expectations, is not being aligned to their needs and their wants, they will make an informed and educated decision to invest their money where they're getting a better quality of service. When you just jump into the market without having the critical information, you hurt yourself. It might look as though that you have a competitive advantage, but in reality, you are setting yourself up for failure, particularly when that market is becoming more competitive and you have the players in the market who are prepared to leave no stone unturned to gather critical market intelligence, to really connect with the target audience, to add value, to fix problems, and to significantly cash flow their operations. So there you had it. We look at some of the advantages and disadvantages in leveraging what we call the predeterminant of demand and the speculative determinants of demand method. Some predeterminants can save you, but the information has to be accurate. So what I want to talk about now is what we're going to call the post-determinants of demand. And what the post-determinants of demand represent, it represents going to the ground and getting primary market research data. Primary market research data. And in this case, having this data is what is going to help you to identify your target market. In identifying your target market, don't jump in and say, this is the people that I'm going to be targeting. Do the research and say, okay, this is a viable market. And based on the fact that this market is viable, I can cash flow it, I'm going to target these people. Next step, this market has these specific needs and wants. I believe that I'm the best qualified person to supply those needs and those wants. These are the information that you need to make an informed decision when you're getting into business. All right, so let's go into this. To do the market research, and we're talking here about the post-determinants of demand in the marketing and research aspect, gathering critical market intelligence and being able to identify your target market and know how to influence your target market. Ground zero is market research. Why the market research? The market research is going to come at a high cost, because here is where you have to go into the community and you have to engage with the potential customers, and you have to inquire about what are their needs, what are their wants, what are their expectations. And by doing either random sampling or quota sampling, it allows you to get these kinds of information. You can interface with young people if that's your specific target market. You can interface with entrepreneurs and business people that have specific needs. You can interface with car owners. You can interface with government agencies. All of these are specific target market, but how well do you understand the needs, wants, and expectations of these target market in terms of making an informed and educated decision as to why you want to target them, their potential to cash flow, and your ability to add value to this specific target market. So to know this, you have to invest in market research. So the market research will allow you to have this critical market intelligence. You understand your market size, your market density, your market dispersion. You understand the economic potential of that market. You understand the market viability because you understand the number of persons that can actually invest in your products and your service and your innovation. You have these critical information. Now, if you come to me as an investor from venture capital, fund venture capital, and you ask us to invest with you, and you don't know your financials, perhaps this is another reason why you're going to fail, because you're not prepared to make an impression on your investment bankers, your commercial investors, and venture capital, accredited investors. You have to get the skin in the game. So do the research. Now, doing that research, you come to the second step. This is what allows you to be market-oriented and market-sensitive. And in most cases, just looking at historical data that you're going to get in the predeterminants of demand and the speculative determinants of demand is old data. So you're being sensitive or oriented to the market based on old data. You need to have current information. So you can be market-oriented. Being market-oriented means you can also be market-sensitive. To be market-sensitive, it simply means that you can align your products and your services to the needs, wants, and expectations of your target market. And you want to be in the position to be market-oriented market sensitive, smarter way of doing business. And you might be asking yourself, how is it that this business is being more successful than you? Market orientation, market sensitive, building healthy relationship in the market. But the way to build healthy relationship in the market with your potential customers is by investing the time to understand their needs, wants, and expectations. The third advantage that I want us to look at here is you have now a clear understanding of the market viability, potential to scale your business and grow your business growth potential. You see, the research will not only inform your decision on the potential of the target group to cash flow maximize, but it also allows you to understand how you can scale your business, because you're going to start small, perhaps, and then you can see how the market is geographically dispersed. So you start to identify how I can scale my business, my idea, my brand across region and perhaps across the world based on critical market data. You need to have these data. You need to have this information. So all of this influences the potential of your business to scale and to grow. And I'm saying to you, a venture capitalist, a commercial bank investors, and accredited investors, if you want to make an impression on them, you need to have this information, because they're going to make a decision to invest with you based on your business, your idea, your brand, potential to scale within the short period of time, medium to long-term period. And you have to know the market well enough to be able to make these kinds of representation when you're engaging with financial institutions. You need to put yourself here. In the event you don't know how, reach out to us at Global Branding and Marketing. Reach out to us at Venture Capital Fund, Venture Capital Inc., and we will be happy to engage with you to help you to understand these systems. The fourth issue that I want you to look at is you have a clearer understanding of the market, and I cannot emphasize this. You know, it's like you're accustomed driving a particular terrain, and because you're familiar driving the terrain, you understand all the bumps and hiccups in that terrain. As against a person who is now coming on that terrain, that person can drive with you because you understand the terrain. Having a clear knowledge of your market gives you a greater opportunity to be able to navigate that market. And you want to put yourself in that position where you can really navigate it. So the fifth item I want us to look at is clear understanding of market gaps and market niches. You want to know market gaps. You want to know market niches. And in knowing this, you want to also know how to leverage it and how to cash flow it. Market gaps will literally allow you to either put new or existing products into those gaps. And that again is going to allow you to cash flow maximize. Market niches. If you don't have or if you're not invested in critical market intelligence, the research, the ground zero, the primary foundation for any business is to have the intelligence. You know, this is what's going to give your business, your brand, your ideas a fighting chance to be successful. So the next thing I want us to look at here is what we call a clear understanding for new products and service innovation. Doing the research, this is the advantage that you have. You can clearly identify from your research the need for new products, the need for new services, and you can become the trendsetter, the game changer in innovating new products and new services to reach the expectations of the existing and potential customers. But if you don't have the market intelligence, you cannot make these kind of decisions. So the first system that we look at today on the marketing systems and sales strategy, we look at how to identify and influence your target market. How to identify and influence your target market. Do you know your target market? And what are you basing this knowledge on? Can your target market allow your business to cash flow? How well do you know your target market? The research that we're talking about will enable you to get these kinds of intelligence. So I trust that you would have enjoyed today's program. Again, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the multiple best-selling author for several books, including Billionaire Codes and Manager's Toolkit. These two books are already on the bestseller list. I want you to visit our website, www.megamoneygy.com. Navigate shopping, navigate the bottom of the website, and you will see the thousands of persons from around the world who are giving positive comments on the products that we have on that social media. Again, if you are looking at this program for the first time and you've never subscribed to this program, I'm going to encourage you, if you find the information interesting, give us a thumbs up. And there's a subscription button at the bottom of the screen. Just press that. So you will be the first to get this information on a daily basis that we are bringing to you to help you scale your business, your item, your brand with global relevance. Be blessed and see you on the other side.